A challenge in successfully managing relationships with remote team members is that there's not just one type of remote employee relationship, although we tend to talk about them that way. We clump them all together. For example, we discuss how to deal with remote employees, when in reality, a wide variety of relationships exist among remote employees, just as is the case with on-site team members. One obvious variable to consider is the type of employee. Who works remotely? Executives and administrators, managers, supervisors, frontline workers, accountants, customer service associates, salespeople, administrative assistants, HR directors. But just like in in-person relationships, a multitude of combinations exist between employees and supervisor, a team of managers and the director, cross-organizational relationships like accounting and IT working together on a project, as well as the inherent power dynamics that are present. For example, there's a difference between an employee making a request of their supervisor and the supervisor asking for something from that employee. Another component is what we will call the degree of remoteness. This is a combination of the distance, the history, and percentage of time worked off-site, and the frequency of face-to-face interaction. So, the relationship with a colleague who works from home but lives in the area, who is remote 4 out of 5 days and is seen by others at least once a week, is different than the type of relationship you'll have with a coworker who lives and works across the country or world, is remote 100% of the time, and that you may only see once a year at an annual company gathering. One factor that's especially important in remote work-based relationships is the mode of communication. Part of this is determined by the nature of the work, and part can be personal preference. For example, if an architect and her assistant are collaborating on a project, they need to be able to connect via a video conference platform so they can share their screens to examine drawings. Alternatively, one supervisor for a general contractor may prefer to get information via text, while another would like calls so they can discuss issues rather than text back and forth. Finally, there's the issue of who is involved in the communication. Similar to on-site interactions, one-on-one communication is usually the simplest and most straightforward, although we each have individuals with whom we really struggle to communicate clearly. Then you have small groups of 3 or 4, a team meeting of 5 to 8, and then larger group meetings, which are typically structured best in a unidirectional format, that is, one person talking at a time to the rest of the group. All of these variables together combine to create a crazy, complicated matrix of different types of relationships between remote employees and their coworkers. So what can you do to facilitate clear communication and healthy collegial relationships? As a psychologist, I often find that the best path is to go back to the basics. First, clarify and communicate. Clarify expectations about behavior and communication. What is the same regardless of whether a person is remote or on-site? For example, the expectation of the timeliness of a response typically would be the same unless one person works in a time zone several hours away. Do you let team members search the internet during in-person meetings? What is your expectation for virtual conferences? Whatever it is, let people know. Second, when possible, communicate with others in the ways that are most effective for them. While this can be confusing when dealing with a large number of team members, most of us learn about individuals' preferences. That Stephen is more likely to see and respond to a text, while Nicole prefers getting information via email. In the same vein, when appropriate, let others know the best way to communicate with you. Finally, be gracious in how you relate to others and try to give them the benefit of the doubt. Healthy relationships require effort, patience, a commitment to try to work together collaboratively. If someone is delayed in getting back to you, don't rush to make a negative attribution about them. They're irresponsible. Rather, investigate, ask questions, and seek to better understand their circumstances. Relationships are difficult. Workplace relationships can be more so, and remote workplace relationships clearly have significant challenges. But healthy ones can develop when we consider the challenges involved and work together to be supportive of one another.